and welcome to another episode of Colivers Club. In this episode, we are talking with Stefanie. She's a really relatable experience because she has been a nomad for a lot of years and she found her dream place in Tarifa, Spain. So she decided to build her own living.
Yes, the name of the coliving is Eco-living Finca la Palmera, and it's different from other colivings because it's a non-profit project. So all the money that the coliving gets goes back to the coliving and the community around it. Hope you guys enjoy this episode too.
Hello, welcome everybody to Colivers Club. I'm your host, Cesar Alberca. Today I'm here with Stefanie Prossinger. She is an eco-living enthusiast. She manages a co-living in La Palmera near Tarifa in Spain. Beautiful Spain, of course. Hello, how are you, Stefanie?
Hello, Cesar. Thank you for having me here today.
No worries. As always, this episode has also been powered by MapMelon. It's a platform where you can find very nice co-livings. Check it out. I mentioned that yours is an eco-living. What is that?
Yes, indeed. So it's a term I came up with myself. It's basically a blend. So before it was an eco-lodge, or at least I tried to make it into something sustainable. Then with the co-living principle, so the community aspect of it, it's blending the sustainable and the community, came the word eco-living.
So eco is not for economic, no? It's for ecological.
It is for ecological.
Oh, okay. I thought, this is very expensive or very cheap, depending who's the economy better for the owner or for the client.
No. Actually, as you can see from the website, it's ecoliving.org. So we're a non-profit organization. We're just in the final stage of having it registered fully as an association. So our eco-living members will be members, as in family members. And that's the idea behind it, actually.
Wow. And what made you want to start an association like this?
Wow. So where do I start with this? All the way back. Well, I believe that, it's community living is the way to go. And I just wanted to create something more meaningful. So therefore the blend between sustainability and community. Why the association? Simply just looking into legal forms of because you need to register it somehow, right? Just having it be a business did not feel right for me. It's a passion project, so I fully believe in what it is that I'm trying to do here anyway. And I don't think of people that come here as clients or as customers, right? That just didn't feel right. It really is a community project, and I believe that all the effort should go back into the community, and if not ours, then at least we're a rural co-living as well, then into the area or into similar projects that are related. And I also believe in doing something that's not just good for us, right, but also for the planet, and just seeing that, taking it a step further.
Nice. And how about your background, right? Because I know you've started in tourism, actually in hostels and backpacking hostels.
Yep.
And you've also traveled the world a little bit. How did you manage such a change to start your own co-living?
Well, actually, as you said, I come from a tourism and hospitality background, and that's basically what I've been doing all my life. My first full-time job was managing a hostel of almost 200 beds back in my hometown in Salzburg in Austria. That's where I'm originally from, and I loved it. I really, really loved it. And but I also really love traveling and exploring the world and different cultures, languages. That's always been my passion. So I did spend my 20s traveling a lot and working in different places, also helping set up hostels, doing some startups. And obviously, since day one, it was my dream to do my own project at some point, right? So So that was always the idea: travel the world, find the best place for me. Anyway, there's no such thing as the best place, but at least for myself,
Spain, obviously, Spain.
obviously, Andalusia, where is the most sunshine, the best food. No, well, so yeah, the idea was. The idea was that, and then start my own business and create my own hostel. So yeah, that's what I did my 20s, and I stumbled across Tarifa in 2014. I was just meant to be traveling through and stay for a night, and 10 years later, here I am still. Yeah, I immediately fell in love with the spots. There's something about being on the most southern point of mainland Europe and having the two oceans meet, like the Atlantic and the Mediterranean. You can see Africa from here, from the coast. It's like Morocco is just 14 kilometers away. It's a very, very special place. Also a windy place. I learned kite surfing when I got here, and yeah, I just got hooked. And so many virgin beaches, national parks. So yeah, anyway.
Yeah, Tarifa is a nice place to wind up, right?
Oh my God, yeah. There's definitely worse places to be stuck, I'm telling you. And then, yeah, time just passed, and all of a sudden I was in my 30s and not in my 20s anymore. And my mindset has changed, thank God, and so has my lifestyle. And all of a sudden, running a hostel in the city center of Tarifa with a bunch of 18-year-old backpackers playing beer pong with throwaway plastic cups just did not feel to fit anymore.
No? How come? It's the perfect lifestyle.
You know, I had an early midlife crisis, went to India, did my yoga teacher training, and I don't know.
That's how you get the yoga teacher training.
We've all been there, you know, and then you come back and you're like, maybe I want to do something a little bit different. So basically, I started looking around in the countryside to find something, more quiet, more calm, more in a natural ambience, to be able to create something, that's a bit more greener, eco-friendly, and a place also for people to have a different kind of experience, really connecting with nature. That was the idea, and I found Finca la Palmera in 2019. This beautiful hidden gem tucked away in the countryside of Tarifa, 5 minutes from the beach, basically, in a small town. And it was a bed and breakfast back then, run by an elderly couple that didn't have the energy anymore to keep it going. And I just took it over. And that was, cool. Quite good timing. In 2019 was that. So.
Something happened in 2020, right? But we don't like to remind the people what happened.
Yeah, but all changes are good for something. And now in hindsight, it's actually the best thing that could have happened to me, because when I took it over, I wasn't really happy with this bed and breakfast concept, you see, because when I said I want to open my own hostel, what really I had in mind was a feeling, right? This everyone sitting on a table, people from different backgrounds, nationalities, ages, sharing a meal, sharing a good time, you know? And that's the connection I had with hostels back from my backpacking days. And that just didn't happen. So as happy as people were that came here, as happy as I was with my guests back then, everyone was connected to me, but the people were not connected to each other. So even though I transitioned it into more of an eco lodge rather than a bed and breakfast, and I made everything kilometer zero and whatnot, I was still missing this community aspect. And through the changes of people being able to work remotely, it just opened up a whole new possibility. And basically, my idea was, if you really want to connect with people, what you need is time, because you can form a connection in a second. You know, it's like love at first sight. It happens, but not to everyone all the time. Usually it does take a bit of a process. And it just didn't feel sustainable anymore either, to have people fly in from all over Europe to just have a weekend in the sun or a week and then fly back. And that's not something I wanted to encourage people to do either, like without judging. But yeah, I just feel like it didn't fit anymore for my concept. So yeah, the idea was to simply change to a minimum stay of 1 month. Obviously, that's not possible for most people without the opportunity to work at the same time. And I researched this idea, and it turns out there was already a name for it, which was co-living, and there was already a few people back then that did that, especially in Spain, and who did it in a rural area. I think that's probably the more special thing about it, right? Because cities always tend to be a few paces faster.
True, yeah. And so before this research that you did, you've never heard the term coliving or like these kind of things?
No, I believe it's a rather new concept as well. So when traveling, I've come across the term digital nomad. I've got quite a few friends that are location independent entrepreneurs, workers. So I always knew that that bunch existed, and that just, after the pandemic kind of went up a lot in numbers. But yeah, I think, no, I've never heard co-living before I actually started really researching it in 2020, 21. That's kind of when the transition started happening.
And what things did you need to take into account when transitioning from a bread and breakfast to a co-living?
Well, there was multiple transitions happening at the same time, because the building, like half of it where the rooms are and the bathroom, that's all in one building. So that's a relatively new building. But the other building is almost 200-year-old house. I'm still trying to figure out the exact date. And that needed a lot of love and attention. So previously it was like the private home of the owners. So obviously the first step was to create communal areas, because that's what makes the co-living really, to create this communal kitchen, living room, a co-working space, places where people meet and interact. So I needed to get myself out of that area and make it a communal area. And at the same time, I had a roof that was leaking. So I built a new roof on top of that house in the pandemic. And it was a crazy adventure and a project that took a lot of time, money, energy, learned a lot, and a lot of people involved as well. It was basically a community project from the start, with so many people helping and the energy of so many people flowing into this project. And it still is, because there's always something to do with an old house, as you know, and especially the garden, which is what makes it even more special, is with 2,800 square meters of land. Like 8 palm trees and wild olives and pine trees and a yoga deck and a permaculture vegetable garden. And that takes a lot of time and effort, and more than just one person to maintain it as well.
Nice. Maybe if you want to find out how old is the building, you cut the oldest tree and you count the rings, and then that's it.
I would never cut down a tree. No, I go with asking the neighbors, but you know how it works in rural Spain. It's like everyone has a different story. And in the end, you take all the stories and you kind of blend it, and you probably have the truth somewhere in between.
You speak Spanish, right?
Claro que sí, hombre.
Oh, this now is the next section is for Spanish speaking only people.
Vale.
So yeah, no, I'm kidding. But I was wondering if you found difficult to understand the Andalusian accent at the beginning.
Oh my God, yes. Yes.
They speak so fast, right?
Okay, but it was a bit of a challenge.
They speak very fast. Yeah, it seems like a song, they're always singing at you. It's very cool accent.
Yeah, and the people as well. I think singing is a nice metaphor, because people seem to be happy all the time.
Yeah, I guess the sun does that to you, right?
It must.
I think that's that's
And
why you went from Austria. Oh, true. Yeah, we Spanish people love to celebrate things, so
yes.
especially in villages, right? Do you have any local festivities in the village near you?
Well, right now it's the Carnaval de Cádiz. It's pretty famous, I would say. We're celebrating it also in my village. I'm actually in a batucada, so in a drumming group that marches through the streets and plays. So I'm very much looking forward to that event next week. And then there's a feria.
La feria, yeah.
La feria. So even in our small village of 200 people, we have our own feria, which is only for one weekend. In other places, it's an entire week. And then we have a lot of gastronomic events. The Ruta de Atún, it's like a gastronomic event around the tuna fish, which is famous from this area. Oh yeah, there's loads of reasons to celebrate.
So that's what you stayed in Spain, right? The celebrations and festivities.
Absolutely. But one of the many reasons, I guess.
I also wanted to ask you about the differences between backpacking hostels and the co-living. There's this sense of community, but I think it's different, right? Can you tell us more about it?
About the difference. Yeah, well, as I said, I think the biggest one for sure is the time, because you can instantly connect and over a dinner and have a nice conversation, go out with someone. But it's like really living together with someone for an entire month or 2 months or 3 months. Oh, wow. This is where you learn a lot about the other person, also about yourself. And I think sometimes it's those, let's say, normal moments that really make it. Because if you're traveling and you're a tourist, everything seems to be a bit different, no? It's like you're in this pink bubble where everything is amazing. And if you're working, you're in your everyday life. So there's also challenges. There's also days where not everything is running so well, maybe. And I think that's even more important and more beautiful than to have other people there and to share it with, and maybe people who can help you, because we're obviously have a few things in common. That's why we're digital nomads and why we like to co-live. But then everyone is different and people come from different also backgrounds, skills and jobs. And for me, it's the most beautiful thing to see now. If someone has a problem with their computer, for example, and there's someone else there who can say, oh, I can help you fix that. But then there's someone who's like,
everyone is a software developer
well,
these days.
not everyone, because otherwise that wouldn't help either. I've been surprised how diverse people are. And you get others that are like, I can help you with this skill. I can translate to you in Spanish, or I can... I know something about massage or acupuncture, or you can join me doing yoga tomorrow morning. I don't know, like those things.
Something that I experienced that maybe comes close a little bit is the times I've done El Camino Santiago.
Ooh, which one did you do?
Oh, I've done it 4 sections. The French way, I've done it 3 times, but not all the way. Maximum, I think I've done 130 kilometers each time. And I've done also the Portuguese, like also a section. No? And the thing is that you have this experience with the backpacking and the hostels where you meet with people, but then suddenly sometimes you meet them the very next day in the same hostel because you're doing the same Camino. So you have this kind of feeling where you are sharing these intense moments, but you're not living really together with other people, but there's more to it. I think that a regular hostel, let's say.
For sure.
Have you done it?
I've done the Camino Santiago del Norte.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Primitivo or?
No, el del Norte entero. It was from Irún to Finisterre.
Okay, how many kilometers was that?
998.
Oof! In how many days? 2-3 days?
I flew it.
And you took a car, right?
I believe it was 36 days. It's actually where I learned Spanish. I didn't speak Spanish before. And I met this one guy from Madrid who didn't speak any other language, but I spoke Italian, so I could understand more or less. And as we were walking together, I just kept pointing at things like a little kid, saying, what is this and what is that? And by the time we reached Santiago, I could speak, más o menos.
Oh, good. Yeah, okay. We can recommend our viewers, if you want to learn Spanish, go to El Camino Santiago for a month.
In low season.
Yeah, true. So I guess Semana Santa, no?
No.
I think summer should be okay, right? I've done it in summer. I don't think there's a lot of people, right?
I don't know. I did it in end of October, beginning of November.
I think that could be a good time, right? Not in winter because there might be...
lucky with the rain. People warned me.
Yeah, true. walking in the rain, not nice.
But yeah, I know what you mean. It's beautiful. Like this, there's this extra connection you form with people because you're in this same camino together. You're going through the same thing. Yeah, it's actually I was thinking also there would be something that will bring the people here and that everyone has in common. And I thought it would be more related to the location of the finca, being that close, you know, between 3 national parks. We have it all. In winter, there's surf all year round. You can kite surf, wing foil. You can scuba dive. You can rock climb. You can mountain bike. Like you name it. There's so many activities like sunset, beach riding. Most people just come here to be in nature and to relax. It's really funny. I was very surprised by this, but it seems a lot of people just like to get out of the city, have a bit of a break of the busyness, and sometimes also of the bad weather, especially now in winter. Northern Europeans, they tend to like Spain for this. And then a lot of people that also are a bit conscious of not flying, not taking any flights, so they don't want to escape to Thailand or to Bali, maybe not even go to the Canaries. So then probably one of the warmest places to be in Europe without flying that you can reach easily would be here. That was a funny surprise to me. So in the end, there is something that connects everyone. It just didn't turn out to be what I first thought it would be.
Maybe you can make La Finca a step in the way to Camino Santiago. You know,
Yes.
like,
Well,
or
actually,
the other way, people need to migrate from Santiago to Tarifa, across all of Spain.
you don't have to, but it's a nice experience. I would recommend. They've just built the E8, Euro Velo 8. It's like a bicycle lane that goes from Cadiz to Athens, and it passes by my house, basically. So
Through the
that
sea?
would be a next adventure. Just along the coast.
Okay, that makes more sense. Sorry.
Yeah.
It would have been cool though, like a very long tunnel or yeah.
Let's not dig up a ton.
This project with the Eco-livings and this association, what do you see in the future?
What do I see in the future? So firstly, I'd really love people to stay connected, kind of as it's something that they share and they bring out into the world. So that at some point you run into someone else and you realize, we've both been at this eco-living place, and it connects people. So that even this winter, there was a time where there was, I think, 8 people in Morocco that had been previously at the finca, and not all of them have met. But I still tried to put them in touch and say, listen, this guy is there who was here last month. So they can form this eco-living family, even outside of the physical location here. And then obviously what I would love is to spread it, like make it a bigger network. So maybe include multiple destinations where people know when they go there, they find, a similar kind of vibe, you know, in the countryside, and with maybe a permaculture concept, maybe an approach to, this eco-friendly way of living, and a community that really cares and is supportive, and that would be nice. Maybe different locations in Spain, maybe in Europe, maybe at some point worldwide. I don't know.
That's a nice idea. I wanted to mention one point. For example, when you said that you want to make people know where they are, where they're going to be in what co-livings and what not, that's actually how Map Melon started. Ramon wanted a way of checking where people are going to be in the future, no, in co-livings.
I saw that feature and I really like it. Yeah, you can
Main
tell
feature.
that it's also a passion project. It's not just about making money on commissions of getting people to book, but to really connect. And that's why I signed up and why the finca is on Map Melon, because I really feel that that's what it should be about. It's not the Airbnb for professionals, but really about a community.
Are you a remote worker or digital nomad looking for the perfect co-living experience? Meet MapMelon, your all-in-one platform for booking community-focused co-livings with exclusive deals and promotions. With colivings all around the world, Macmillan offers a lot of options for every budget and lifestyle. You can also track your friends' plans and share your own, and never miss out on an opportunity to reconnect. And finally, you can also stay up to date with the latest events, workshops, and job opportunities in the co-living community. So sign up today, discover your next co-living, and join a global network of Colivers.
Yeah, because also I think nowadays many people slap the name co-living, and it's not really a co-living, no, it's more like a hostel. And maybe in the future they also put the name eco-living, no, and and they are not really eco-friendly, you know. So I think that should be a platform like Macmillan where you can really tell, okay, this place is really a co-living or an eco-living.
Yeah, someone who checks and
Yeah. And I wanted to mention as well, how can co-livings turn more eco-friendly? What are some tips that you might give them?
things you can implement. Well, for example, the energy is probably the easiest one. If you cannot or do not want to put solar panels or something on your house, which is quite an investment, or maybe you can't do changes to the building if you're in an old town, or it's not your business, you're not owning it, like you're renting the building, then at least you can contract electricity. At least Spain is really good for that. That comes from green energy. So that's one step. Another thing that for me, especially in Andalusia, is really important is the water. It's the first time now in winter even that we have a water shortage because it's not raining enough. So I like to make people aware. It's one of the number one questions, like, but when will you build a pool? And I say never.
It's a big pool
Exactly.
on the Mediterranean
3.5
Ocean.
meters from the house. It's salt water. It's amazing. It's a constant.
Yeah, you can say it's a plus, right? It's a salty pool.
with a wave channel. No.
Yeah, an aquarium inside.
So yeah, it's I mean, anything from there's those little things you can attach to your taps that reduces the amount of water flowing through the tap per second. They're quite simple. So that's, it's just something you buy and you screw it on, and then you reduce by several cubic liters the amount of water that flows through the tap. I mean, modern toilets nowadays have the half flush button. If you don't want to change your toilet, what I did, for example, because I always believe if you can, like recycle, reuse, obviously, all those things, use local products. But yeah, what I did with the toilet, I just opened it, and I don't know how many liters fit in there, let's say 10. So I put 3 plastic bottles filled with stones in there. So it just takes up some of the volume. So now it's 4 liters of water less that are in there, So it's like very simple tricks I've learned from people here, because it's the poorest area of Spain, and people are very smart about saving money, saving water, saving things. So there's a lot you can learn. And yeah, as I said, like I try to use local products, like for example, the rugs and the throws and the things that we have, they're all recycled from the big companies like Zara in Valencia. They buy like the rest of those fabrics and make it into a new product. So it's made in Spain, it's made from recycled stuff, it's bought from a local shop in Tarifa. I buy a lot of things on Wallapop. So it's an app that we have in Spain, but I believe that it exists everywhere. Each country has their own app, so it's amazing. Secondhand things, yeah. Give it a second life. Then a big thing for me is avoiding plastic. I don't really like people telling me what to do, so I try not to tell other people either. So rather than telling people, don't go out and buy a plastic bottle, you just give.
Yeah, you tell what you do.
So I, for example, put a water dispenser with a water filter system. So it's a cost of €200 per year for me, but it's a really nice filter that I change every few months, and you just put the tap water through this filter, and the water that you get is amazing in quality, and people use it and they love it. Like they can also really taste and smell the difference, that it's not the chlor that you can smell here that we have. It encourages them to just take the filtered water from the water dispenser rather than buying a bottle.
I think also some things can be done when you measure things, right? If you I don't know if these filters, or I think there might be some systems where you know, oh, this room or this part of the house consumes that much water, and maybe you can make changes. Are these things that also interesting to you?
In terms of measuring?
Yeah, measuring what you use, or because I'm a software developer, I love analytics and measuring everything.
No, I'm the kind of person that goes by gut feeling and instincts.
Okay, I'm imagining myself putting like a lot of counters or things to measure how much water you use, or
others. So basically, I went through comparing data of different companies that offer those water filters and different filtering systems, because there is the ones that you put on your tap, but then you lose a lot of water. So that might work in a country where you have a surplus of water, but here I felt that's not the right approach. And then there's the ones that filter too much. So I feel like you're also using the minerals. So that's why in the end I went for one of those filter systems that are like external, that are not built in. So in a way, I go through all this technical sheets and information that different companies provide to then make the best choice. But here I've not really measured. I mean, we're a very small co-living. We only have 6 rooms. They're private rooms. So I don't need to make a spreadsheet, you know? It's all fine.
You always need a spreadsheet. I have a spreadsheet where I put all my spreadsheets, you know.
Yeah.
So I keep. No, I don't do that.
Well, when you come to visit, you're more than welcome to make a nice spreadsheet for me. And
I have a very pretty notions. Yeah, but sometimes I feel like I overdo it. You know, it's. But I think there's
structure is important.
Yeah, there's some equilibrium where you find the sweet spot.
For me, with rubbish, that was a big thing. For example, that. Because it's something you just come to realize, because if you're only one person in your household or 2 people, you think you're doing pretty well and it's not so much waste that you're accumulating, right? But yeah, then the second you run a guest house, a co-living, and you have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people or even more, and you have to take out the rubbish, you really start asking yourself questions. You're like, holy hell, how can we just make this less, right? And again, how can I make it easy also for people? Because I don't just want to tell them, you know, try not to create so much waste. So, I mean, of course, there's the recycling, but most people say recycling, but really what they mean is separating. That means just put this in the yellow bin and this in the green bin. That doesn't solve anything. I feel.
And if you are colorblind, right?
Exactly. So big thing I try to tell people is like, listen, if you want to avoid packaging, we have this local guy who comes with his van and he sells the fruit and vegetables out of his van. So you're buying organic, you're buying local, but also you're buying unpackaged. So the amount of rubbish in our kitchen bin has decreased infinitely. When people buy their fruit and vegetable there rather than in the supermarket where each banana already comes wrapped in plastic, kind of. Then there's so many things. We compost. So I realize not each place can do it, but we have our own compost bin. So I think that's the most rewarding way of actually recycling something, because people throw it in the little kitchen compost and then they get to empty it into the big compost. And then within the month they stay, they can actually see this being transformed into earth that goes back into the vegetable garden where we grow things. And it's something strangely satisfying to watching like this whole cycle and being in touch with it. Yeah, and the loss of soil is like a big thing as well, actually. On something big cities are starting to reinforce nowadays too. Like I think San Francisco is having an amazing pilot project there to reward people that compost. So yeah, I feel that's something that could be done in each place.
How does it all tie with the permaculture mindset? Can you explain our audience what is permaculture and what does it do?
So usually it relates to gardening, right? But you can integrate the whole concept of permaculture to society and to more sustainable way of living in general and living alongside each other without harming the others or enhancing other things. So it's taking all the information we have to kind of create something that's more sustainable with plants. Like very easy example would be I put a big plant with massive leaves next to a plant that needs a lot of shade. So this one plant gives the shade to the other plant that grows next to it, right? And it's sometimes those really little tricks that make it work in your favor. And yeah, I'm only just starting to learn. It's been about 3 years now that I got into permaculture. I wish the further we go with the project, the more time I can invest into the gardening aspect and really see if we can cultivate enough to really have a food for the co-living. That would be amazing. At the moment, it's more like a hobby. We watch something grow, there's a salad, or last week we harvested some potatoes. So that's exciting, but it's not enough to live off.
And I think if you manage to do that, then you'll have the perfect place for an apocalypse, a zombie apocalypse.
Of
If
course,
you are on-
that's the secret plan.
That's the main goal, right?
Make sure you remember now so you know where to go. Now, yeah, like another thing that's really important for me is also to avoid chemicals. I believe for the permaculture, for a sustainable approach. Also because sadly a lot here, which is not legal, but of the wastewater goes into the sea. So I feel it's extra important to take care that there's no chemicals getting into the water, which has led me to make my own cleaning product. So because I really want to keep the finca as chemical free as possible. Again, I don't just want to tell people, listen, just don't use chemicals. I just say, okay, the cleaning products are provided. They're here. So all they need to do is just use that rather than something
I think also you can do a skill share, right? Because I think it's very interesting how to make your own things.
Loads of people are interested, and then we do it together. And also, I'll tell you what, it saves, again, a lot of waste and plastic because let's say your average detergent for the clothes that you buy in a 5-liter bucket, 80% of it is just water. So basically you're paying and you're having this container for 80% water, and just 20% is like soap and fragrances and other things that actually clean your clothes and make them smell nice, right? So why do I keep needing to buy a new container if I have those 80% water at home and I can just buy those other 20% and just mix it myself? So I'm saving a big plastic container.
Cheaper as well.
Yep. Also, it's more cost efficient, it's more waste efficient, it's better for the environment, ultimately also better for you, for your skin, people that are sensitive with their skin or get rashes, to not include any chemicals. I work a lot with essential oils.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So this is the perfect place for an apocalypse. I'm going to check out. I'm sure people will check out your website to make sure that it's also perfect for them.
Yeah, and we need people also because that's the whole thing to make it sustainable. I think it does need the community as well. So
Right.
I'm not a big fan of thinking, I need to make sure that I'm okay and I buy all the toilet paper there is.
Oh, wow. That's the first thing people did in the pandemic.
Exactly.
Why? It was not one of the symptoms that you needed to go to the toilet a lot. No. So, yeah, it's crazy.
No, because when it's actually time to harvest, you have so much of one thing, you can't possibly eat it all yourself. So it makes sense to share and to be in a community. So that's why I believe those two things need to be linked together, community and sustainability, and one doesn't really work without the other.
Have you thought about making it a farm? Some animals there?
I believe I would need to buy another few acres. At the moment, we only have one animal, which is a very cute border collie mix, who basically adds to the happiness of everyone in the finca. But he doesn't do anything useful.
Making people happy is useful.
Oh yeah, no, he's chief officer of happiness at the finca. Every review is like 2 lines about the finca, half a line about myself, and 6 lines about Milo.
Nice, you know how to get the good reviews.
Yeah, he does all the work. I pay him by giving him extra nice food. No, he actually gets it all back from the people. I think he does love all the attention and the petting, and he's being walked at least 6 times per day. So
yeah, I think if I was a dog or I was reincarnated as a dog, I would want to be a co-living dog. You know, I think it's the perfect place. It's just perfect.
He's all the time like, dude, you had enough screen time. Come on, throw me that ball now.
Yeah, it's just perfect. Yeah, it has been an amazing pleasure to talk to you, Stephanie. We will put
Likewise.
links to your association and your website so people can check out your amazing eco-living. I sure want to visit someday.
Thanks. We look forward to having you here. And yeah, thanks for the interview. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So yeah, see you soon. Bye.
See you, Cesar. Bye.